Welcome to Echoes from the Valley, where the veil thins and the shadows stir, and forgotten voices whisper through the dark. Every week we gather here in our sacred space, across screens and speakers, across distances seen and unseen, to explore the paranormal, the supernatural, and the metaphysical. Echoes from the Valley is more than just a podcast. It's a living, breathing investigation into the mysteries that dwell just beyond the flickering edge of our understanding. In every episode, we bring you raw, unscripted conversations with mediums who speak with spirits, investigators who chase the unknown into abandoned halls and silent woods, healers who work with energy and light, and seekers of truth who refuse to look away from the strange and unexplainable. And here we do not hide from the dark, we honor it. We open the door to questions that others fear to ask, seeking not sensational thrills, but genuine understanding. So wherever you are, turn down the lights, pour yourself a drink, and settle into the quiet, and listen carefully, because the echoes are never far away. This is Echoes from the Valley. Stay with us, and remember, in the hush between worlds, every voice has a story, and every shadow a secret.
Hey everyone, thank you for tuning in with us tonight. This is going to be a very good night of mystery, wonder, and exploration. And I'm Todd, along with Ronnie, and we have a very special guest tonight. Her name is Nina the Mystic. From her early childhood experiences of sleep paralysis and contact to her studies in the occult and her work today as a spiritual guide and tarot reader. Her story is one of transformation, empowerment, and seeking truth beyond the veil. And stay with us while we dive deep in her journey, her insights, and her wisdom she brings. Nina, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Hey, thanks for inviting me.
Yes, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? Who is Nina?
Oh, that's a good question. I've actually been, doing live shows and stuff like that for quite a while. However, my original channel got taken down, so I'm starting all over again. So a lot of people might think that I'm new, but I've been around for a while, and I started YouTube, to share my experiences as well, and also to seek the truth and try and figure out what's going on and all that good stuff. And I don't really put myself in a box, really. I'm all over the place, but whatever you want to define it as, a mystic, I think is a good word for it. It's just somebody that actually believes in the unseen. And I was just thinking about that earlier today. That's exactly who or what I am. Is I can say for sure, I know for sure there is life after this, and there is definitely a lot more going on than what people realize. So, yeah.
Now, Nina, what got you into what you do when you was, and I know this usually happens either from an encounter or experience. What brought you to this point?
So, growing up in Europe, actually, Christian household, or most people call themselves Christian there, although most of them that I know anyways, don't actually practice it. It was just something that was literally forced upon us, a few years ago. And we grew up with that. But, from the day I was born, I was having sleep paralysis, as the scientists like to call it. And it just became so normal for me that I just got up in the morning and went about my day. I never really talked about it. I did mention something to my dad once, and he just had this weird look on his face. I never mentioned it again. It just wasn't some of those things that you could talk about, you know? And so I had that from day one, which if people are wondering, it's a spiritual attack, and it's like invisible force, I guess, trying to attack my solar plexus. And I've come to realize now that that's actually where our soul resides, hence solar plexus, you know, that's why they call it that. But at the time I didn't realize that. So they're literally, you know, trying to attack my soul being. And it wasn't until I was in my early 40s, by the time the kids were grown up, sort of, you know, teenagers and all that stuff, I had a lot more time on my hands. And I ended up with a major incident where this being manifested right in my room. It was laying next to me in bed.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Yeah. It wasn't just the sleep paralysis anymore now it's actually manifested. And I always slept on my side. I could never sleep on my back because I would get attacked there right away. So from the day I was, as far back as I can remember, I always slept on my side, curled up, sort of fetal position, trying to cover up my solar plexus all the time. And so I had the one arm sort of over my shoulder there, and this being put his hand inside my hand.
Wow.
Like, it was creepy. And that's what led me to, okay, that's it. I gotta start figuring out what is going on here. Like, and I started asking some of my friends if they've had any of these kind of experiences. Nobody seemed to have. So I went online. Thank God we had the internet at the time, and I was able to start researching, you know, figuring out what's going on. And with that, I kind of left, you know, Christianity and just started studying. I couldn't get enough. I felt like I had to catch up. Like, I was just soaking it up like a sponge, you know, like it was like coming home in a sense, getting all this information, you know. So it felt good. I knew I was on the right track just by how I felt and all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of what led me to today. Yeah.
Awesome. And when you had that, when you woke up with that going on, what did you do to get rid of it? Like, what did you do in that moment?
Yeah. So I started with, I guess at the latter part of this, I started almost embracing it and not having as much fear. And matter of fact, I started laughing, using laughter.
Oh.
And that really, like, I tried the whole Jesus thing. That doesn't work. Praying to Jesus, you know, that whole thing, that just makes it worse. They think that's hilarious, you know. So, you know, there's no sense living in fear and that kind of thing. But when I started embracing it and sort of trying to enjoy it in a way and laughing at it, that it couldn't stand it. Can't stand being in that laughter energy. You know what I mean? So that's really helped. So, yeah.
Okay. Cool beans.
Yeah. Now, let me ask this question. When it comes to malevolent spirits, a lot of people, and for me, there's two different. There's an evil spirit, and then there's a demonic spirit. What is your take on these more malevolent spirits, like the one that grabbed your hand?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't feel like I was in danger at all, or maybe I was being naive in that instance, but I didn't feel like I was in danger. I felt like I was in control, like we are in control. It's just that we don't realize it, especially when we're younger. As kids, you know, we just don't know what's going on, and you have no idea how to stand in your power and all that kind of stuff. But to me, I don't really look at it as demonic. I think that the whole demonic, anything demonic, is made up by the church.
Yes.
Like, they're literally demonized.
Yes.
You know, so
it's a Christian
yes, there's
concept,
good and bad, you know, just like people, there's going to be, you know, if you know, somebody asked me, oh, what's humans like? Are they all good or bad, or what's going on? Yes, to everything. Like, there's a, you know, it's complex, you know. So, and same with spirit. There's some obviously that are good and some that are bad, and something in between. And so I don't really look at it as demonic. I think that's just nonsense, to be honest with you. I think it's all made up by the church. We've only, like, the pagans never had a devil. There was never a Satan or a devil or anything like that in the pagan religion. And that was just something that the church made up to have a good cop, a bad cop, you know, we kind of got to have that thing going on. So yeah, so I don't recognize it as that. So
Good.
And
yeah.
anything that's demonic, I've been a paranormal investigator for 31 years, and anything demonic is extremely, extremely rare. I mean,
Yeah.
you'll find more of an evil spirit or a grumpy spirit than you will. I mean, imagine you go to these places you see everybody go to, and they're asking, how did you die? And, are
Yeah.
you dead? And of course, the spirit's going to get a little mad at you and maybe throw a rock at you. So,
Exactly. Yeah, I'm sure, if they're anything like us, that you got to deal with moods, you got to deal with, with us, it's hormones and all this other stuff. But yeah, that most definitely, you can catch them, in a bad mood or, and then it makes you wonder, like, because I know with us, there's a lot of mental illness going on.
yes.
Now, what about spirits? Maybe some of them are mentally ill. If you were mentally ill here, you're also mentally ill over there. I don't know. But you know what I mean? So we might be encountering that as well. They might not be right in the head, so yeah. So
And that's very true. I always say that the people with autism and things of that nature are more susceptible to spirits as well, because they're not, how do I want to put it? They are not,
They haven't been programmed.
yeah, they haven't been programmed.
mhm.
And that is the downside with religion, is it's a programmed thing. If people would actually understand, Christianity, of course, took most of everything from the pagans. So it's very, I don't know, it's crazy how the control and
It
manipulation
was all
is.
about control and
Yeah.
controlling the masses, basically.
Yes.
Let's put them in fear. That's why they got to be God fearing. Put them in fear, and they're going to do it as they're told. They're not going to break these commandments or whatever it is.
Right.
What's going on? So yeah, the devil was made up by Christianity, really. And we're not dissing Christianity
Right.
for people who believe. That's wonderful. I love it when people have something that brings them comfort and whatnot. But it's just not for everyone. Just saying.
Absolutely. Now, Nina, when you was 7, you had a contact, an experience. Tell us a little bit about that experience.
So I'm not 100% sure if it was contact, and this is why I'm bringing it out there to see what other people have to say about it. It was an incident at an old farmhouse that we used to live in, which was sort of on top of the valley, I guess. The valley was down below. It was like the house in its day. And so the highway and whatever is like way down, in the valley kind of thing. And I was on the second floor on a bunk bed on the top bunk in my room. And all of a sudden there's this white light that comes in I've never seen it since, anything so bright in my life. And then the next thing you know, I come to and I'm down on the bottom bunk in a kneeling, praying kind of position, tears coming down my cheeks.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of come to, I'm like, why am I down here? Like, what's going on? And so I just crawled back up and went up to my bunk again and went to bed there. But yeah, so I still don't know exactly what happened. There's definitely some time lapse from when I saw the light to when I came to. How much, I don't know, because I was just a kid.
Yeah.
I didn't pay attention to time, but yeah, something happened there. And so, of course, the Christians will say, oh, it's some kind of, religious experience. The UFO community would say, oh, some alien thing or whatever. I don't know. I really don't know exactly what happened, but I do remember as a child after that, kind of looking up to the heavens and thinking, I want to go home. I had that sort of feeling, and in Norway, we didn't have any TV. There was none of the shows and all the stuff that you had over here in North America. So there was none of the influence of that sort of influence. And my family too, never heard of an alien or anything like that growing up, so where I got that from, I don't know. So it makes you wonder, what exactly happened. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Well,
Well,
Yeah.
like for me, when that happened to me and I was in my 20s, I woke up in a different position. Like I was literally standing over my bed and wondering when I came to, for lack of better story, I was like, why am I here? How did I get here? What's going on? You know, so I do believe that. I mean, I'm starting to think that I had an experience. But I think that they do something to try to make you forget. And then people like us that have special abilities or whatever, you know, we're not going to always forget everything. There's still going to be pieces there, you know. But like you, when I was a kid, I used to look up at the sky too. I'd always look for Orion. And if I saw Orion up there, then I felt safe. I was like, okay, it's right there, you know. Like I don't know why. We moved around a lot when I was a kid. So like every single place that I ever go, including here, I look for that. So yeah, I feel like the mothership, my home somewhere up there in the stars.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I gotta say, there was no fear. Like when I came to, I didn't feel fearful at all. But like you said, they probably mind wiped us, you know,
Yes.
so that we don't remember what happened exactly. But whatever it wasn't fearful anyway. So I wasn't feeling any fear at all. So
How
yeah,
old were you?
I don't know exactly, but around 7, depending on if it was spring or fall. I don't know exactly, you know, but my birthday's right in June. So around in that year there, you know. And now come to think of it, you know, 7 is a very special year. You know, we go through 7-year cycles all the time. And so that would have been the end of my first 7-year cycle around that time. So that kind of makes sense as well.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Now, do you believe you was contacted by, for example, an alien?
Like I said, I don't know. I wish I had still had that video because I had so many comments on it, but I lost my channel, so it's all gone now. But you know, there's so many different opinions on, like, this one guy thought I had died, that I had fallen out of the bunk and died and had some kind of, you know, there's so many different theories on, you know, this. To me, I don't know. I like to think that maybe they came to visit me to tell me everything was going to be okay. I don't know. To be honest, I don't know. But yeah, it's definitely one of those things that you never forget. It's not like a dream that just fades away. When you have these kind of experiences, you know that this is more than just some kind of dream or something, you know. So
What was, Nina, what was the turning point that made you leave Christianity?
Like I said, when I was that major incident with that thing coming into my room and I started studying, you know, I was leaving as I was studying. I started, you know, getting to know the truth and stuff like that, and realizing that, when I realized too that church and state are holding hands, that's when I really knew, oh yeah, okay.
Right. You know, and you know, a lot of people, they don't realize, they know about religion obviously from the book, but there's been so much taken out of that book and replaced with how it should be. And the only reason I'm bringing this up is for example, the first book of Genesis talks about it perfectly with Adam and Lilith instead of Adam and Eve. And a lot of people don't know the story. And Adam and Lilith, they both came from the earth. And that's how God created them. And long story short, Lilith would not
submit.
She would not submit. Submissive. And of course, he cried to God about it, and God cast her out, and she became some kind of like not a demon, but she was cast out. And what's crazy about this story is when he gave Adam Eve, he took the rib from Adam to create Eve. That way she was part of him and she had to obey. So the book is, when we read it, it's all about obeying. You have to obey. Women were meaningless, and you can't have someone like Lilith who had a brain of her own and was completely, hey, you're not doing this to me. Yeah, so all that had to change. So yes, there is quite a few like that, including the Book of Enoch that was taken out, talking about the giants and things of that nature. So yes, I was just curious on that point when you left Christianity, what made you turn from it?
Just being exposed to other material, and realizing that, oh yeah, this isn't everything, there's so much more to it. And it didn't feel right there either. It just didn't feel right. I tried it, a few times, to try to blend in, because this is the place to be, this is where everything is happening, so no, it just wasn't the place for me. And going back to Lilith, she was literally the first person that they demonized, for one, and also gaslit all women ever since. Like it appears that this God in the Bible has a real mama issues. Mama's not mentioned at all in anywhere, right? There's like, she didn't exist at all. He made it all happen. Yeah, okay. So this God needs some therapy for sure.
Word.
But now that we know a little bit more with the Sumerian tablets and the actual story, or at least that story, we don't know for sure whether that's also been placed here to manipulate us and to deviate us from the truth as well. We don't know. At this point now, I think we can't really trust anything that's coming from them, but at least it's very, very similar to the Bible story. And you can see where they got it from, that whole story. It was just dumbed down into a more abbreviated sort of version of it. But basically, that's kind of where we come from. And, and a lot of people might have a problem with that, because, where we come from isn't so romantic. It's, we're literally a slave race. We're literally just bred to be slaves here. And this is why the elite think that they can do whatever they want with us. They have a right to, because they made us. So, so there's that. Yeah.
Nina, do you believe in reincarnation?
I do. Yeah. But I was actually, today I was watching some Anunnaki thing, and it makes me wonder. So if these guys made us, how do they make our souls? How does that all work? I can see it making a being that's walking and talking and whatever, but how does the soul thing work? So that, there's still all of that mystery there.
Yeah.
How did that go about? Because I do believe, because I don't just believe, I know. And that's the difference, I guess, between being a mystic and just a regular person, is that I have had contact. Like when my aunt died, she was with me for a good 2 months after she passed. I know for a fact that she's not gone, that, that she's still on the other side. Now, what is the other side? That's the question. Where do we go from there? That's another question. But there's definitely more to this realm that we're in right now. This is not the end. I can tell you that right now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right. But it is confusing, though, because if you think about it, if we, and I'm sure you're familiar with soul contracts, things of that nature. So if we choose our path, we choose our routes, when we die, we would have to start over and choose again and again and again and again. And it would just be a complete cycle that repeats itself. What's your take on that?
There's pros and cons to the whole coming in here with a blank slate, because we do get a blank slate. So all the past mistakes that we've made, we're not coming in with it, because that would be horrible if we remembered every little thing that we did. I mean, we have, like, as a mother, I have a hard time sleeping sometimes thinking about the mistakes I made in this lifetime. Never mind if I was going to remember everything from before, So there's that. But then again, yeah, we gotta go. We gotta learn it over again and over again. It's like, and that part doesn't seem fair in a sense, But there must be something to it. there must be some kind of, reward or something at the end of it that we keep doing this.
Well, and do we split off into different pieces of energy? Because if we die, we know our energy continues on. So if we are in the spirit realm, well, where's the other part of our soul? Is it now back to another time, like a timeline? Because we've done that soul contract thing again. So now we are here, and let's say in that part of that soul contract, we unknowingly become the victim of some serial killer. So now we're starting over again, this endless cycle.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different experiences, and so who's to say that a life that doesn't, get to be very old, say if you die as a child, or, accidents happen, I guess that was an experience that you needed to have for some reason. So I also think that we're a fractal of the creator. I do believe there's something that created all of this. Now, what it was, I don't know. A lot of people are starting to kind of believe that we are inside some kind of video game here. It's
Right,
just
like a matrix.
You know what I mean? So, I mean, if you look at it that way, it could be some 10-year-olds made us in some closet in some other place. You know what I mean? Like, so, and if we are fractals of the creator, I guess this creator wants to experience everything in the flesh, which it can't because it's not flesh. So it created us to experience all these different things, and that's good and bad. And that's why I don't think there is no such thing as good and bad. There just is an experience, and we take turns on experiencing it. Sometimes we're the abused, and sometimes we're the abuser. You know what I mean? Different lifetimes, and it would take an awful lot of lifetimes in order to experience everything. So there's that theory as well. And then going to timelines. Yeah, I do believe every decision that we make, we're creating another timeline now, and that we're living in multiple timelines all at once. So, and hence then also experiencing all the different things you could have been if you just had done this, or if you had done that, or not done this, or gone here, or it would have been a different experience for you. And so there's all of that too. Yeah, I don't know if that answered your question, but
Yeah, it did.
Is there? Do you believe that there's a universal law somewhere that governs the unseen?
Well, you can go back to Mark Passio with natural law. There is that natural law, which I do believe in. I mean, it just is, you do this is what's going to happen. It's just the way it is. There's not much we can do. It doesn't matter how evolved you are or whatever. If you step in front of a bus, you're going to get hit. That's just natural law, so there's that. So I that does seem to work here all the time, natural law. So there's that. I don't know if that's who or what that's from, but yeah, that seems to be the rule, I guess.
So do you think that the Sumerian tablets that's the true story of our origin?
Well, like I said, I've kind of come to the point now where I don't believe anything. Like it's there, and it's kind of, I've done some shows on this, like the 1800s, something happened. We had some kind of reset in the 1800s, and that's when the Sumerian tablets got presented to us. So anything that's presented, from the 1800 upward, I don't know. I mean, I'm learning, I'm studying, I want to know it all. But is that the actual story? That I don't know. I'm going to have to say no, because at this point, it just seems like everything was orchestrated around the 1800s to set us up for today. Including the whole end time in the Bible. The Christians are right. It is happening as it's written in there, but that's because they wrote that stuff. Like,
Yes.
Whatever. It's debatable. I don't think it was 2,000 years either. I think that's been lied to us as well. I think they've tacked on 1,000 years. We haven't been here that long. It just doesn't make sense to me that we went a whole 1,000 years with the same fashion, the same tools, the same everything, that we didn't evolve at all over 1,000-year span. It just doesn't seem right to me, because we seem to go real quick now. Like, you know what I mean? Every 10 years, we got new fashion, new hairstyle, our new tool, like everything is just so, you know, like all the time. And so why did we go a whole 1,000 years? So I'm a little bit skeptical about the 2,000-year timeline that they're giving us. I don't think it's been that long. I think it maybe only been 1,000, maybe 15 at the most, I would say, that we've been here, like since we've had Christianity, that basically gave us the end time textbook here that we're going through right now. So yeah, I'm skeptical. I'm pretty sure I've done shows on this as well, that I'm pretty sure, because we know about the whole, you know, New World Order, everything. They want to bring us basically back to the way it was back in the day, where there was just one government, one religion, one currency. They want us to bring us back to that. And I get that, because I guess if it worked back then who am I to say that that's not a good thing? I don't know. I would like to see the fine print though, but I think they're going to, with this whole, you know, disclosure thing that's happening rapidly right now, the A1 Atlas thing, I might be part of it. I don't know yet whether that's going to be their excuse, or is it actually something real? Because if you do go by the Sumerian tablets, they do say they're coming back. All the religious texts say the gods are saying they're coming back. Well, that would be the way they're coming back, is on some kind of starship, right? Down here. And if that's the case, that's not going to be so good for this planet, which might explain why we have climate change, which might explain why the elites are all spending billions of dollars on underground cities to hide in. That would kind of explain it. It's just us dummies sitting here waiting for this to happen, you know. So yeah, there's that. I don't know if I answered your question there.
But there's a lot of different speculation when it comes, especially to Anunnaki and things of that nature, and of course UFOs, because I have another podcast and we talk about aliens and abductions and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And the disclosure movement is more about, they want to know that the government knows that that aliens are there, and they have been for however long, for a millennia, including back to when Egyptian time, things of that nature. But I've also heard from people that were experiencers that ETs will tell them, okay, we're screwing up the earth, we're screwing it all up real bad, and it's up to us. They're here to help us fix it. But then you have the elites, all the power people, and it's like a big pyramid. You know, there's people at the very top, and it works its way down. But we can fix environmental things. Humans can. But the problem is there's no money in it. There's no money in free resources, no money in solar, no money in water propulsions. There's no money in it. And this is what the problem is. The problem is, if they want you to have free electric that can be generated from the sun, well, how are they going to make money on it? So that they don't. So you can't have it. And if you do have it, they're going to tax you on it. It's just like your solar power. They claim that you can take your solar, create the electric, but it has to go back into a power grid. So who gets that money? The electric company. So now you're being taxed for your electric that you're getting for free. And now you're paying to the electric company. So we are capable of creating everything for free. Nikola Tesla, he had tons of different patented ideas and ideas that worked. We as humans now, in this century, this technology, we have wind power, we have solar power, water power. In fact, they have turbines that are so big in the water now that it can power city after city. but yet that costs money. So we're going to charge you for that. Everything is about money.
Yep.
So these aliens that come down, we might not have, let's just say in the Egyptian time, they might have gave us some kind of piece of technology, but we can't use it until we catch up with our technology. So after all those years and hundreds of years, now we're starting to catch up. So technology is now, like you said, imagine you're in the 1800s and there is a train. Okay, that's the most fascinating thing in the world. Now all of a sudden we got cars. We're stringing lines up for Morse code. We are going from Morse code into talking, and all this is happening at breakneck speeds. So yes, it's very fascinating, the progress that we're making, but unfortunately according this is just me talking, if there is a world order, it never worked, and it couldn't, because if you look at Roman times, if you look at the Greeks, you look at all those past places, greed toppled them all. All wanted the money, and when there was no money, they took it out on the people. When there were no more people, the place imploded. So, and that's what it seems like we're headed for, especially in our times that we have with political things going on that has us so deeply divided.
Yeah, it seems that, we get to a point and then we get reset. And it seems like we've gone through this numerous times now, and, some people could say that, well, we're getting overpopulated. And I guess over time, they have been sort of controlling our population with the pestilence. I was thinking about that earlier today. Like, where did this plague come from all of a sudden that took out how many millions of people, right, back in the day? Well, that was probably given, like it was literally put there, I'm sure. They didn't just appear out of nowhere. So they've been, orchestrating this, population control all along, I think, with the pestilence, and then a little war. And then, of course, women died from childbirth and whatever else. And it wasn't that long ago since we got penicillin, really. I mean, we used to die from the stupidest things not long ago, just from lack of that. So, but from what I've heard, that Eisenhower sold us out, apparently. And that's where we got the technology that we have today. And he gave them permission to experiment on us. And this is why it's only been since the 40s or whatever that we've had any of these incidences. So it does kind of seem like that's probably what happened there, because nobody talked about that prior to that. There was no, you know what I mean? Like, never even heard of that. So,
well, it would have had to have happened way before Eisenhower, because in the Bible, it talks about Ezekiel's wheel, which they believe was UFOs. So, I mean, there definitely had to be something back then. But as you said, as the technology, because Eisenhower disappeared there for a little bit, and these secret treaties were made, things of that nature. So, but yes, from what you're saying, yes, the technology that happened from I'm going to say from 1900 on, it just is so rapid. It just continues to blow my mind. I mean, we have the AI now and all this stuff that I never even would have thought possible.
Yeah, I found it very interesting. Somebody asked the chat GPT, whatever it is, where it came from, AI comes from. And the answer was that AI's always been here. It's just that we didn't know how to tap into it. Just like electricity, that's always been here too. We can tap into that from all over the place. It's just that we didn't know how to harness it and how to use it before. We've only had this. It's only been in our homes for just about 100 years now. It was in the 20s that it started getting popular into most people's homes. And so literally 100 years, that's it. In this whole big scheme of, years and whatever we've been here. And so this is literally right at the end. that we're sort of getting this now. And there must be a reason for that. They gave us the TV, obviously, to literally tell us the vision that they wanted. Like we went from Leave It to Beaver to the blue-haired Karen that we got right now in what, 50 years? Like literally, like, wow.
Right.
Like talk about how fast you can break down society and change everything just by having that little box in your home.
Yes.
Called a television, right? They were programming us into, right? They had to fast track it. Obviously word of mouth just isn't going fast enough. We're going to have to get this box in there so that we can, get this going. So, and here we are, you know what I mean? We can't even get off these little black thing that's programming us now, that's tracking us, every move we're doing, listening to everything we're talking about. I do believe they're actually listening to our thoughts, because I've noticed that myself. I'll be thinking about something. Next thing you know, there's a commercial on Facebook for that very thing.
Yes.
Never even mentioned it. How is that possible?
Right.
So yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I mean, the internet, as great as it is, it's also that double-edged sword. We know the propaganda, misinformation, and it's become so rampant because I think what makes this where I have to just shake my head is because nobody thinks anymore. When we were younger, we would look up things and research things and not just go with the first thing we read. We would read multiple papers and then come up with our own hypothesis. It doesn't do that anymore. Now it is, blind believing. Let's just believe in this, It's crazy.
Well, that's kind of what was brought in with the TV. Whatever the TV said, well, that was got to be true. It's on TV. I mean,
right.
That's how we kind of grew up. That was like God. I mean, whatever came out of there, you can't question. That would be like questioning authority or your teachers or, your parents or whatever. That's a no. We're heavily indoctrinated that, we can't do that,
Right.
So, yeah, like. So, and that's kind of trickled in. And now with the internet, a lot of people, unfortunately, are still in that mindset, whatever is on TV, mainstream, and also what's on the internet, not realizing that's any schmuck can put whatever they want on the internet.
Yes.
Any schmuck can write a book. It doesn't mean it's true. You know what I mean? Like because it's written down and archived, we think that, that's it. That must be the truth. I've done my research. I found this, so yeah. And all we are exposed to right now on the internet is the stuff that they want you to know. Because I've noticed that as a content creator, years ago, go on there and research. I'll find all kinds of things. If I go back now, can't find any of it. It's gone. I'm noticing people are getting erased from the internet. People that used to have a Wikipedia page no longer has it. And they're erasing things in real time right now. But most people won't know that because they don't do the kind of research that we do, to make content. So I've noticed it. So it's so the only information you're going to get now there's no sense Googling anything. All you're going to find is the stuff that they want you to find. That's it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's sad because they're erasing everything that's important.
Yes.
It's not that they're just getting rid of stuff. They're getting rid of everything that's important. Anything slavery, anything dealing with genocide of people. They don't want you to know anything except what they're saying, and that's a scary thing.
Well, I live in Canada, and they've just come out with a new rule now. They're going to take out, 200 books out of the libraries for children.
Yes.
So they can't read them. Yeah, no longer available. These are books that, you guys were reading when you were kids.
Yeah.
I mean, some of it I can see if it's got a lot of graphic sexual stuff in there that maybe elementary shouldn't read it, but at least let the high schoolers have it available for older children. I mean, they see a lot worse on TV than what's in those books. I mean, it's
And
just
probably on the
ridiculous.
internet too.
Yeah. So they're literally doing a book burning right now. Canadian government is book burning the schools, the books
Wow.
that were
That makes me sad
available.
that that's going on there too. I hate
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. So yeah, the kids aren't going to know anything, and they've already taken out cursive language. They don't teach that anymore.
Yeah,
So
same here. I hate that.
So all the old books, our next generation are not going to be able to read it. So it's the same thing as book burning, essentially, because they're not going to be able to read any of the old stuff.
Right.
Anything that we were, even a letter from grandma, you're not going to be able to read that now. So yeah, so that's another crippling of the young, that's going on right now.
Yep.
You don't see it. It's not like you got the river of black ink like back in the day, from Alexandria or whatever, but it's done electronically now. You can't see it, but it's being done as we speak right now.
Yes.
So,
yes. And I think that another thing is not only are they getting rid of things like cursive and well, you still have to know algebra for whatever reason.
Right.
But they're getting rid of all this other stuff.
Taking away arts, music.
Yes.
Things like that.
Yeah. And you have to ask yourself, well, why? Why are they getting
'Cause they
rid
wanna
of
make robots.
arts and
They want
yes.
people to not be able to critically think for themselves. It's just they want them to take what they say as, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
As the last word. They don't want people to think on their own.
It's
Think
like
outside of the box.
it's like this comment right here. It says, books are on the internet. It ain't like hard copies are the only copies. And I understand that, but even they are being changed around.
Oh, that's what I wouldn't trust any book that's an ebook, because that can be changed just like that.
Yes.
So that's the thing. You need to have those hard copy books from
Yes.
prior to 1800. Like I said, I don't trust anything from 1800 upward now. I think something major happened around that time. And so I would go back to older than that. But that means that you need to be able to read cursive language, because
Yes.
a lot of those books were written in that. And so this is how they do it. You see, it's very sneaky. It's a little bit here, a little bit there. And next thing you know, most of us are so busy all the time, you don't notice any of this stuff. And that's by design too, by the way. It's to keep us busy with 2-3 jobs, plus family, plus, and we don't have time for anything. Like I said, this is why I didn't get out of Christianity until I was 42 years old, because I just didn't have the time to sit and do this, so yeah.
Yes. And that's a wonderful point that she just made, because cultures are disappearing.
Mm-hmm.
Languages are disappearing. If you think about it just right now, as we're discussing this with Nina, it's by design.
Yes.
Let's get rid of a language like Hebrew. If we get rid of that language, they can't read the text.
The books. That's right. Yep.
So, yes.
And it wasn't that long ago since we weren't allowed to read the Bible. Actually, it wasn't that long ago since we learned how to read and write, really, in the big scheme of things.
Right.
They kept us so dumbed down, right? We didn't know how to read and write. We just believed everything they said. And so.
Right.
Yeah.
And that is another good point, because if you think about books such as the Bible, that is for control.
Yes.
If we keep it from the people, then we can control everybody. It's like the movie with was it Denzel Washington, The Book of Eli.
Yeah, that was a good movie.
They could not find a book that was in English or in that was written to where they could read it. It was in Braille, and only he could read it. So that in itself is that is what I'm talking about. These different things that if they can control. She's right with the Bible. You wasn't allowed to have the Bible at all. You was told what was in the Bible. So yes, the same with the reason I am so bent on religion is because it's killing in the name of. Okay, thou shalt not kill, but let's wipe out all the pagans because they won't bow down, or whatever other reasons. The witches, okay, let's burn them at the stake. Oh, you don't believe in God? Torture him, rip his arms off, do whatever. I think that is so. Yes.
Another reason for the witch burning too, unfortunately, was that women had no rights back then at all.
Right.
So if your husband died, oh boy, you just lost everything.
Yes.
And so they wanted the farm. They wanted your land.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so they'll just accuse. And I mean, the kings back in the day, was it King Henry? He would just make up some story. She cheated on me. Oh, take her head off. That's all it was.
Yes.
All you needed
Poor
back then.
England, yes.
Yeah, she must be a witch. Oh, she knows how to heal with herbs. Oh, well, that's it.
Yes.
You're out of here. And because part of it was because of the religious thing, but the other part was they wanted our land.
Yes.
The widow's land. So when you go, if you actually go look back to all of these women that were killed in that way, I bet you most of them were widows.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. And there was in the Salem witch trials, I cannot remember the names, I'm sorry, but there was one that had a tavern. And of course, she's a witch because they wanted that land.
Tavern. Yeah, I didn't want her having that. Can't have a woman own anything or
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yep.
So,
it's just like voting rights for women.
Yeah.
First, why did it take to how long? 50s, 40s?
The 50s or something? Yeah, it wasn't that long ago since we were allowed to vote.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm not understanding that at all. So this is why the Bible to me it's null and void. The Bible, even if you've ever read the Quran, I have read them. They all mean the same basic thing. Love thy neighbor, treat everybody correctly. Don't kill. That is what the books are about. But for whatever reason, we need the control aspect of it. And killing is just the worst. Thou shalt not kill, but yet every weekend the Americans would go kill hundreds and hundreds of Indians and then pray about it and say, hey, we need forgiven, and then start all over again on Monday.
Yep.
Never mind all the pagans, like I said earlier. In Norway, they identify themselves as Christian, but they don't, they don't do they don't go to church. They don't do any other things. Matter of fact, most churches over there now have now been converted over to mosques. And that's part of the reasons, because nobody was going to them. And of course, Europe has been invaded by Muslims.
Yeah.
So you'll find a lot of that there. But they, I can't remember where I was going with this now, but I can't remember where we're going with this, but
I hate when that happens.
I go on tangents sometimes. Oh, yeah. No, so many people have been killed, in the name of God. And then I remember as a Christian reading the Old Testament, it used to make me so mad. That's another reason why I don't like it. I just can't, and it's like, if you pissed off God, not only would he kill you, but your whole bloodline. Like this guy, this dude is like, wow.
He's a vengeful
on a different level, of evil, really.
But why? I mean, here's the thing. And like I said, I'm not knocking the Bible or anybody that loves the Bible. I'm just bringing up things that I noticed in the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of that is what she just said as well. Would a God that created everything go to Sodom and Gomorrah or wherever he went, and he said, hey, look, they're all sinning. I want you to go down there. He took his angels. I want you to go down there, and I want you to put a mark on these doors with lamb blood, and those are the people that I'm going to save. And they went down there, and they did as he asked, and he wiped out the whole. What God would do that?
But he loves you, though. You know. He loves you. Yeah.
I mean, I don't understand what the heck.
Kind of like a king thing. If you just bend the knee. you're going to be okay.
Yeah. It's
But
definitely conditional love for sure.
Yes,
There's none of
for sure.
unconditional love with that guy. I can tell you that right now.
Right.
If you don't
Right.
hold the line, boy, you're out. It's not just you, but your whole bloodline. You know,
and,
Yes.
he did it not just once, but a few times.
Yeah.
And until the last one, which was Noah's Ark, when he wiped out the entire human race and all the animals and everything. What that?
It doesn't make sense. That's the thing. Once you start waking up and you know, and you really start, you know, meditating on this text that we've been brought up with, it doesn't make any sense at all. It just doesn't, you know.
No.
So
And this comment here, this one's really good from Sarkis Cult. That is only one God. There are many gods. And that is true.
That's right. Well, even
And
God in the Bible said so. You know, there shall be no other gods but me. So you are admitting then that there is more. And, you know, he's also saying he's a jealous God. He's wrathful God. He's all these things that I thought was on the tablet saying that we're not supposed to be. We're supposed to love your neighbor.
I think man put that in there, that God's a jealous God and there should only be one God. I believe man did that because,
well,
come on.
that can be debated. I mean, we don't know exactly what is original and what has been, you know, mistranslated, and because it's been translated over and over and over again in all kinds of different languages. And we don't, like, I don't know Hebrew. I couldn't go over there and say, yeah, no, it says this here.
Right.
I don't know it. So yeah, you know, and that's most of us, you know, and again, that's why they're taking away a lot of things so that we can't go and reference back. So we can't, you know, so.
And that's why I 100% agree with you that books like the Dead Sea Scrolls that contain the Book of Enoch and things of that nature are being changed around online, and the original scrolls are in the vault of the Vatican so that you can't know anything about them.
That's right.
They don't want us having knowledge.
Yes.
They don't want us.
No, we weren't created for that. No. I mean, you know, we were created to do the work, but not to question any of it.
Yes.
So, you know, and now our guests, and I think we've gone through this a few times now where we do get woken up, our consciousness is expanding, we're questioning things, and that's when we get reset back again.
Yes.
It kind of makes sense. You know, if they want to keep us dumb and as slaves, I guess they'll have to. Because, you know, yeah, nobody wants to do it anymore, you know, so, yeah.
Right.
Which is why a lot of people are disappearing, like you said. You're not being so known online anymore because, yeah, it's scary. It's a scary world.
People are getting scared. I know we were talking about offline, you know, I've seen peers of, you know, other occultists are literally like disappearing, like, you know, not disappearing, but, you know, like going offline because they're worried that there's another witch hunt coming about and that we're the first in line, obviously. But as far as I'm concerned, it's too late for me. I mean, you know, they already know everything. Everything is recorded. Everything I've said, you know, that's all going to get used to mainstream. You know, so.
And you know, when you think about actual biblical things like we're discussing now, if you think about it, the movie Book of Eli was the world was blown up. Was you know, if you look at ancient Egypt, they tried to chisel off a lot of the hieroglyphs because they didn't want people to know the truth.
Yeah.
And it's
knowledge is power. We're not allowed to have that, especially women.
Yeah. So, I mean, do you think that there's going to be some cataclysmic thing like World War III? I don't want to say World War III, but like a nuclear war or something. And all the countries are going to be like wastelands. And the ones that survive are the ones that's going to have to use the knowledge. Well, you're going to have two classes of people. You're going to have those that want to control everything,
Yes.
and then people like us who want to teach what the meanings are.
Yeah, unfortunately, human nature, there's always somebody that's going to want game, no matter what stage we are, so, and I do believe we've been wiped out at numerous times now. That you can go back to natural cycles as well with the weather, there's a lot of different theories. Now, if we're going to go back to the Anunnaki thing, if Nibiru is coming back, if that is in fact what we're seeing with this comet thingy here, then yeah, there's going to be some major disruptions here with flooding. Like the whole thing is going to get flooded again. The only stuff that we have from before are literally things from deep down in the caves, the hieroglyphs and everything, right? I mean, anything that was preserved in pots, like way down underground. That's the only stuff that we have left over, and that's going to be the same this time around as well. So there's a reason why the elites are spending billions of dollars on underground cities, not just a bunker, but like cities.
Yes.
Where they're moving into and they're hoping to survive, I guess, whatever's coming. And anything that's on the surface here will be gone. Yeah. So go and stash your treasures now, everybody.
Who are they to decide who lives and who dies? The money.
I was going to say, this is what's going to get you the golden tickets. Yeah.
That's right.
It's a big club and we ain't in it, unfortunately.
I know.
So,
Yes. That's so unfortunate that, the elite are all, and if you think about it, there's only, how many billionaires are there? I mean, there's only
Handful.
8 or 10 at the most, and they control all that money. That's more money than, I mean,
we'll never see that.
No,
in our lifetime.
I believe that the few billionaires that we know of, those aren't the top dogs. Those are just the ones we know. The top dogs who have it all, we don't know those names.
No. I mean, because Rothschilds have been thrown around so long.
Oh yeah, no, they're just, they're just what we hear of. But
right,
there's somebody else that control them as well. So now we can go back to the Anunnaki again. With the whole, are they still here? Are they underground right now? Are they still controlling us from? These are all other debates. Maybe different show, but. That could very well be the case. I have heard a theory, and I'm kind of entertaining it myself, that, we're kind of herded into one small area on the planet here that we can see. And I think this is why when they measure, for like the flat earthers, okay, when they measure, they do all the things. I mean, their science sounds pretty good to me. I mean, I'm not a scientist, but when it sounds pretty legit. But I think the reason being is that they're not measuring the whole planet. They're only measuring the stuff that we can see. That's on this side of the ice wall. We don't know what's beyond the ice wall. Could it be another 50% or maybe even 100% area over there? That maybe Atlantis, Lemuria, and all of these places are still there, maybe even. And are the Anunnaki there ruling us? We just think that we're it, but really we're just a little pen of sheep, essentially. They're food.
Right.
As like as a farmer, the sheep probably thinks that barn is it. That's the whole world right there, that barn. But really, there's a whole bigger farm there that we don't see. Right. So that's another theory. I don't know for sure, obviously, on any of this stuff, but theories that I'm pondering on to try to make sense of the information that we have so far, So, I was curious if you guys got anything. Put it in the comments later, and we'll ponder some more there. But there's something to it. They do talk about that in the Bible as well. There is gems in the Bible, no doubt about it.
Yes.
There's some. And so one of the things they do talk about the earth being on 4 pillars and the 4 corners, and there's a few things like that. So that makes you wonder, right? What's up with that? We used to believe that we were on a flat earth until when was it that we discovered the universe and everything? You know, so not that long ago, really. You know, and they've lied about the moon thing, and it's just everything is just kind of coming out now.
You know, that's funny that you mentioned the moon, because I was just getting ready to ask you if you believe that the moon landing was a hoax.
The version that we've been presented is, I mean, just from the fact that you have somebody filming the thing coming to the moon. Who was there filming this exactly? You know what I mean? Like, if you can't film yourself arriving to a place, you know what I mean?
Well, the cameras were on the moon rover.
Okay, so you're saying that's the rover thing. Okay, and another thing was the flag doesn't move at all up there. I don't know. There was just too many things. And then the guy, I guess, who filmed it on his deathbed admitted to it, that this was all done in the studio, and, you know, but the excuse was that they wanted a big production. They wanted it to look good, and so they filmed it there, and they whatever. And then the faces of the astronauts when they came, they're all excited to go. And then when you see the first interview, when they come back, they all look like they were told that Santa wasn't real. You know, so there's that as well. Wouldn't you be really excited if you had just gone to the moon? Like, you know, so there's a lot of clues as to what we've seen isn't true. Now, whether they've been there or not, that could be. They may have somehow gotten there. I've heard a theory that they ended up on the dark side of the moon and they were told to leave and never come back. And this is why we've never gone back. So we may have gone there physically. But the movie that we were presented, that's not it. That is not the real actual footage, I believe. But
the makers of NVIDIA, you know, their graphics and things of that nature, they made a documentary on the moon and the landing, and they showed exactly why the moon looks like it does, like everything is all white and things of that nature. And then the shadows, people were saying, well, why was there shadows? And they did a really good job at breaking it all down. I feel that we were there, and I think that what gets lost is because we don't know about the moon and space and how things work. I think we get confused, and it would have been the most expensive hoax in the history of history. Did you imagine the sheer amount of trees that were cut down, and, you know, papers made and ships made because they were blasting something off? I think it would have just been a huge hoax that would have been, I don't think, feasible for the time. Do I believe that there was some things that was hoax? I do not know, but
yeah, I don't, you know, I heard that the Americans rushed it because somebody else, the Russians or whatever it was.
Yeah, they don't want Russia getting there first.
Right, they wanted to be first. So they rushed it and they made the production, oh yeah, we went there, so that they could say that, yeah, America was first. That kind of thing. And I can see that happening. Now, what puzzles me is the phone call from the landline that the president made to the moon. That, you know, I would like to know exactly what kind of landline was he using. You know what I mean? Like, to me, and then I'm looking at this tin can thing, like, there's no way that thing made it through the firmament. There's no way. No way. You know, like, it's just too many things, you know, so.
Yeah, there is a lot of questions.
Yeah.
For sure. It's not easy. I mean, considering the sheer lengths that the government will go to dupe us.
Yes. Yeah. That I believe. Yeah. And then the most bizarre, excuse as to why we've never gone back is because they taped over the VHS tape that told us how to do it. That's the actual excuse they have as to why we're not going back. They taped over. Again, it's like,
Well,
how stupid do you think we are? You know what I mean? Like, I guess we are, because most people believe we were there. I mean, yeah, it just seems really bizarre to me. But I guess we'll never know. Now, we had a friend on line whose name was Bruce Sees All. We believe he got taken out. He's no longer with us. And he had a huge telescope, and he was filming the moon all the time. And he would go live and show us. And you see all kinds of things up there. All kinds of things are going on up there that I believe he got taken out because of it. They didn't want him showing us what was going on at the moon. So there's a lot more going on than what we, even have a slightest clue about.
exactly.
And so, yeah, I don't know. What do you?
Yeah, it's unfortunate, and this is the world we live in today as well, with all the misinformation, the propaganda, and the blind believing. And it's unfortunate because people can't think for themselves anymore. They let everybody else dictate how it should be.
Now, something that's just coming to me now. President Kennedy, when was it that he got taken out?
That was
61, 62.
like that.
Oh, okay. So a few years prior to the whole moon. I was thinking for a
My
second
mom-
there, maybe they used that to try to distract us from that, or I don't know. Because there's always a reason why they do it when they do it. But it could just be that they wanted to rush it too. So the Russians can get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like with him, there was definitely a lot of different reasons why he could have been taken out. Especially with the Cuban Missile Crisis that was just happening, and how that all got turned around. But my thing is we have Alaska, and right across from that, the Bering Straits or Bering Sea, whatever that one is Russia. So, and my thing is, and this is kind of off topic, but why would the president bring Vladimir Putin to Alaska? How weird is that?
Yeah, that is weird. Why there?
After we bought it from them. I mean, was it like a throw it in your face type of thing? It could have been.
I think so. Because I know he had all these planes and all this show going on as well. It's kind of like a intimidation type of thing going on there. Trump's got to be the big man on campus, right? So
Yeah.
he's going to show off. So
It just made me think when we was talking about that stuff. I'm like, wait a minute. He just had him in Alaska, and we was talking about the missile crisis and how they might have nukes pointed right at us from over there. So yeah, that's I don't know, crazy stuff.
Crazy.
So let me ask this question: if we all know about the Houston airport and the New World Order crazy stuff that's in there, those different paintings predicting they are like apocalyptic pictures. If that underneath that is supposed to be a complete city that is pretty much complete, and it makes me think back when you was talking about these underground cities, and they've been working on them for so long. What is the point of these? The only reason you would create an underground facility is first to keep prying eyes away, so you can make it so that nobody can see, unlike Area 51, where you can still go there and you can peer out over with drones and things like that. But an underground facility, there wouldn't be any prying eyes, so they could pretty much get away with anything they wanted to get away with there, whether it be biological, maybe they're creating biological beings, or what I mean, anything. It's very possible.
Hybrids.
Yes. They could be working with the federations to make hybrid beings.
Well, Trump had a tweet, and I did a show on this as well. He literally tweeted saying that Biden was a clone. Biden was unalived in 2020, and that it was a clone, a soulless, mindless clone that been there the whole time. And so he tweeted this publicly.
Yes.
And so my question is, okay, all right, I can see that happening. So who exactly was in charge of your country then for the last 4 years? That's my question.
Right.
Was
it a cloned Biden?
Yeah.
Or?
Well, we noticed that this one Biden that showed up was a foot taller than the other Bidens. It was weird. Like, holy smokes, where did this thing come from? We noticed that, right? So in the conspiracy community, we did notice all the different Bidens. The ear thing, the height. There was a lot of different Bidens. So we did notice that. But Trump actually came out and tweeted this. So my question then is, okay, so you're admitting now then that this is no longer a conspiracy theory. This is in fact fact, which makes me wonder, how many Trumps is there? Because I have noticed now with AI, how giving you that AI makes pictures and stuff look weird. You can't really, I can actually tell now what's AI and what's not. Because it really doesn't look like the person. But it makes you wonder, like, yeah, how many Trumps have we got going around? Like, who really is in charge of this place? Like, It ain't that person there. I can tell you that, and now actually his health is in question. I've seen some footage of swollen ankles and bruises.
Yes.
Makes you wonder, like, well, that could just be the one Trump, though.
Sure.
Maybe the one isn't doing so well. I don't know. But, yeah, so yes, for the underground thing, I'm sure there's a whole slew of people down there. Like, and I have a theory too, like, say the Maui thing, where they rounded up all these children, over 500 children. Where did they go? Well, a lot of them, I do believe, were shipped right underground to start anew. I mean, if you're going to start a new civilization, you're going to need children. You're going to need young people who are going to live longer, right? And who won't remember, because they probably just got told that, oh, everybody's burnt up, everything's gone, and we're down here. And then they won't question it because they were so young.
Yeah. They can be programmed. Basically.
Yeah, so a lot of the, I think, disappearance of people, period, are going underground to start up something new. Yeah.
Nina, that makes a lot of sense. There's a lot of people that have this theory that everybody that comes up missing is used for sex trafficking. I don't believe that. I do believe that there's a lot that are, but I do believe that there's something bigger happening. And I believe that some of these underground facilities have been there for a long time. And you are absolutely right. If we would take people, kidnap them when they're young, move them into these facilities and teach them what they want to be taught, yes, it really does make a lot of sense, hypothetically, because where did they go? And people are missing all the time. So where did these young kids go? Where did some of these younger adults go? It's very interesting that you said that.
And you guys have no idea, like all these illegal immigrants and everything, a lot of them obviously aren't documented. You have no idea how many children go missing all the time, but nobody talks about that because they're not, you know what I mean? Like, so they're funneling in all these children from all over the place all the time. And I do believe they're stalking the cities, because if we go back in history, that is the way that we have survived in the past. So whether it be a natural cycle coming or something that they're making, or is it the Nibiru? Who knows? It could be all kinds of reasons why we're going to be going through another reset. But if we're going to survive, we have to go underground. We know that. Yes. That's how we've done it before. And so, that makes perfectly sense that they're spending billions, not just a few million, but billions on underground cities that they admitted to. Never mind all the stuff that they've been doing all along. Like you said, I think this has been going on for a long time. These people, have long games, like the Bible 2,000 years, you know what I mean, with the end time story to prepare us. And then 1800, they did another reset. Okay, now we're going to give them the Sumerian tablets so that we can, you know, mold them into, you know, give them a little bit here and there, because it's a long game for them. You know, a few thousand years is nothing. You know, if we're, you know, the Anunnaki apparently live thousands of years. You know, it's just us that only live, you know, a short span here. So our thinking is short term because we can't really fathom the whole, you know, but they have the long game. They know exactly what they're doing, when they do it, and it's all planned out. Yeah,
I mean,
that's my theory.
It is. And when you talk to people like Tony Rodriguez, who was in the secret space program, he's part of the 20 and back crew. Imagine they're taken when they're young to another planet, and they are trained there, which I know sounds crazy, but they are trained. So why couldn't they do it in underground facilities as well? For whatever reason, hybridization programs, for who knows, maybe the next 007, you know what I mean? These spies, secret spies, things of that nature. I mean, it's the sky's the limit.
Yeah.
I mean, especially if you're dealing with cloning and other things. I mean,
Makes you wonder who's real and who's not, especially in the political arena.
yes.
Like, are those even real people? That's the thing. Like, you know, we think it is, but I don't know. Like, seems awfully strange, a strange behavior, almost non-human-like behavior, you know, a lot of it. So
Yes,
yeah.
and that's true. I mean, it really makes you think of what is going on that we're being suppressed from knowing.
Yes.
I mean, there's definitely something happening that's obvious to see. And when it comes to helping people, the higher ups and those with the money, they don't want nothing to do with helping people, because then that takes away from the narrative.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they can't have everyone survive, like Nina said earlier about population control. We are 8 billion people. We weren't supposed to go that far according to New World Order stuff. And if we did go past that, then there would have to be something that wipes out people. So,
well,
yes.
I don't know if you remember the Georgia Guidestones.
Yes, and they exploded. Someone
You know,
blew them up.
it was very funny because, you know, the Georgia Guidestones tells us what they want for the future. And they want to maintain humanity under 500 million. Okay. So, and like you said, we're 8 billion now. So that's a big gap right there that they need to adjust. Now, CERN, the very day before, so CERN fired up their thing.
Yes.
And then 4 o'clock in the morning. So we're talking just a few hours later, because I think that was like at supper time that CERN did it. 4 a.m. all of a sudden they took it down. By noon, the whole thing was gone, nothing to see here, and we'll never talk about this again. Just like that.
Yes.
Just like that. I guess it got too real for them. People started noticing, you know. But the unfortunate thing is that a lot of people I ask, have you heard of the Georgia Guidestones? No. You can still go and find it now, but it won't be long. I bet you. In a handful of years, you're not going to find anything about that online at all. Like I said, it'll be scrubbed out. The next generation will have no clue about that at all. So that's something to keep an eye. I want everybody to remember these things, and that's why I bring them up. You know, to tell your kids and your grandkids about it, so that when the time comes, I'm like, oh, wait a minute, I remember Grandma telling me about that. I remember, you know what I mean? Because it's not going to be there for them to find later.
But why did they blow it up? That's the thing.
It was just a little explosion so that it could crumble a little bit, so that they had an excuse to go in there and take the whole thing down. The thing is, it could have been repaired very easily. It was just one little corner there that could have been repaired. But no, they didn't want to repair it. They wanted to take it down. By noon, that whole thing was cleaned up, excavated. You wouldn't even know anything was there.
That's insane.
Yes, it is.
It is insane. And, you know, they're getting away with it. Like every day I'm saying this. I can't believe they're doing this. I can't believe. And they get away with it constantly.
Right.
So.
But that kind of had like that had the text on there of what was supposed to be.
Yeah. I did a show on it. I went through the whole Georgia Guidestones. Okay, I'm showing you what Trump's role is. I'm showing you what Kennedy's role is. Okay, because they want us to be healthier. Okay, and so Kennedy's been brought in to make America healthy again, right? But the thing is, what people don't realize is that we're going to get forced to. He's already said now. So the first thing he did when he got in was to, what was the most important thing that he wanted to, that we had to get rid of as far as making America healthy again? The first thing.
Oh, the vaccine.
Most people, I went over most people's head. The first thing he wanted was anti-Semitism. That's the most important thing. Okay, so that's one. Okay, never mind that. We'll put that on the back burner. He just came out and said a couple months ago, that within 4 years, everybody will be wearing a wearable. Okay, a thing that goes around your arm that's going to count all your steps. Okay, and so what the future is going to be like? We're going to be healthy again because we're going to be forced to. If you don't have your steps in, you're not going to get your health care. You're not going to get your pension check. You're not going to get nothing. Everything is going to be recorded. If you don't take that medicine, because they can detect that as well, if you don't actually take the pill, then you'll get cut off. Okay, so this is where it's going. And people think that Kennedy is like the big savior, just like Trump, you know, that he's going to, and for sure there's going to be some good things. I mean, obviously get that yellow dye out of the thing or the sugar out of the cereal and all these obvious things. But what you don't notice is the agenda, and that's why they didn't want the Georgia guys. So because you can see it, it's almost like, wow, you can go and see what they're doing in the politics, and then see what the agenda is for the New World Order.
Yes.
He's the two of them are just, you know, just doing it like in real time here, and that's why they had to get rid of it, because you can see how he's going to make America healthy again. It's not going to be fun.
I think that the Make America Healthy Again would just be defeating their purpose, because they want people to die. That there's money.
Yes, we want 7 billion of us, but they want to maintain that 500. So those rules are for the 500 mil that's left. Okay, after all of us are gone, right? Once so whoever's going to be left here will have to prove that they are being proactive with their health. And I get it. See, a lot of those things, I do get it. I mean, you know, but I mean, you know, the most part of why we're so unhealthy is because they made us that way.
Exactly.
Between the pharmaceuticals, the diet, the lifestyle. I mean, we were meant to work. We're not meant to sit around on a computer all day. We're not meant to eat boatloads of sugar. I mean, it's just not good for our avatar. We're not meant for that. And so they got to go back. So maintaining the 500,000, you have to prove. Okay. So you got to prove with the steps, with the medications that you're supposed to take, and your diet. They'll be able to tell whether you just ate a Snickers bar, and you'll get checked off. No, oh, sorry. You know, so you'll get so many points. So there'll be a whole points thing that goes with, of course, with the digital ID, that goes with the digital currency that's coming. And if you don't follow along with what they have put out for you, things aren't going to be so good. So this is where it's going. They have to be able to control that 500,000 and 500 mil, sorry. And also reproduction is no longer going to be by chance. You're not just going to have willy-nilly kids everywhere. I mean, let's look at the world. I mean, a lot of people who have kids shouldn't have them. So I kind of get it. And the ones that are going to be parents in the future will be screened. They'll be probably bred for that. And every child that's born you're not going to have all the diseases. It's going to be done in the lab. So there's no more cancer, no more of this. Every child that's born is going to be healthy, you know, and they're actually brought up in a healthy environment. Not like most people nowadays are in a dysfunctional family of some sort. You know, like we haven't done a very good job. But again, we've been set up for it, though. This
Yeah.
isn't natural human evolving here. Like this was, done by design,
Yes.
so
And
yeah. Sorry,
stress causes a lot of it too. Stress
yeah,
makes
stress.
you eat.
Yes.
Depression makes you eat. And I think that now, not counting when population is more down, but now it's more profitable to keep you sick and dying
Yes.
than it is to fix you.
Yes.
So if they fix you, well, wait a minute. Now we got all these people again now, and the population is going to get bigger, bigger, bigger. So where you're talking, Nina, with healthier, when things do manage to population to go down, I can see where you would now have some implant or something telling what you're eating, what your heart rates are, your health, all that different things that they would need to know. Because if you're not part of a genetically bioengineered perfect health person, then they don't want you.
Yeah. So if you go and look at, like, say, Bill Gates, if you go and look at where he's investing, he's pretty much buying up all the farmland in America, most of it. Okay, because that's the only thing that's actually going to be worth anything in the new reset. Because it's not going to be the same monetary system. People aren't going to profiting from pharmaceuticals and stuff like that. They are now. So they got to rush this to try and get as much money as they possibly can right now at the end. And with the money is worth nothing. You have to own the land. That's the only thing that's actually going to be worth anything once the reset has been done. And I do believe that the new future that's coming is going to be wonderful. Like, we're talking about med beds, we go back into a temple like it used to be. Temples were designed for healing. You went in there, there's frequencies, there's all these things that, you went in there and you left healed. Like, it's not like the churches today where they just want your 10% and then go home, And so I do believe that, whoever does survive and do enter into the new system, I do believe it's going to be a lot better than it is right now. It's something to look forward to. But the thing that I don't like is that we're being lied to, first of all, about what's happening, and then being forced to. I don't like to be forced to have to go and walk 10,000 steps every day.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, or whatever I'm eating, although I am making some changes now just because I have to. But being forced to, though, that's the part I don't like.
Right.
And
that's where that control comes in.
And that's where the control comes in. And unfortunately, people won't change themselves. We know all these things are bad for us, yet we're still doing it. There's still people smoking. There's still people drinking alcohol, taking drugs. Like you said, depression, and like we've gotten to the point now where everybody has a vice in order to get through life.
That's where the money is, though.
Yeah.
I mean, the money is cigarettes. That's money for the government.
Cigarettes are in the grocery store. Alcohol in the States is in the grocery store. Here, it's every second quarter. You got a liquor store, or now a weed dispensary. Or the pharmacy
that's bad for you.
Everywhere.
Everything that's bad for you is great for the government because they're making fistfuls of cash. But if you legalize marijuana, if you legalize mushrooms, if you legalize opium, if you legalize anything that helps you, well, we can't do that because now we're not going to make the money. It's a huge man, it sucks because many people, even though there is some legalization statewide, federally, it's still all illegal. So it's really, it sucks on how things are. That anything that's bad for you is, hey, go for it. Anything good for you? Oh, well,
no, can't have that. I mean, I live in Canada here. first of all, the government did decide to legalize it here. I think they figured out, hey, you know, we can tax the crap out of this, which they
Right.
have.
Right.
So if you go to a dispensary, you're going to pay a lot of money for that weed.
Absolutely.
So our government is the dealer now, you know. And then now Nova Scotia, they've come up with some ridiculous law saying that you cannot walk into the forest. You will get a $28,000 fine if you go into the forest. I mean, you can't make this stuff up.
Wow.
What?
Yeah. So again, they don't want you to go out in nature and connect with nature and animals, get some fresh air. Oh, no. Oh, no, that's not good. We want you in the city with all the exhaust and everything, and we're all stressed out all the time and all this. If you go out in the fort, $28,000 fine. So we just had a guy do it to get it so you can go and fight it.
So why can't you walk into the forest?
Well, and it's not even the forest fire either. You would think, okay, well, they're worried about people setting fires, which I get. There's a lot of dumb people out there with the stupid cigarettes and whatnot. But I mean, you know, I think that's pretty small percentage of the fires, but it wasn't even that. The lady came out and said, oh, well, you know, because if you go out in the forest and you fall and break your leg, we can't come and help you.
Oh.
So we don't want you out there. Again, they're taking away our freedom to walk into the forest now.
That's crazy.
And that's in Nova Scotia. It hasn't quite come down to my coastline, but yeah, this is where it's going, people. Like,
are they using the Canadian wildfires as propaganda?
Yes, which they started, by the way, because we see that it's not natural to have several fires erupt at the same time in different locations. That's too much of a coincidence. You know what I mean? So we can see it on the aerial cam footage now, where they're starting and they're at the exact same time, and it's a lot of suspicion about this whole fire. I don't think it's natural. I think this is them doing it so that they can further their agenda, and the one is no longer being able to go out in the forest.
Right.
So, you know, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised that will be all over the place. We'll see how it goes. They started it back in Nova Scotia. We'll see how far they get there and see how far this trickles inward and maybe down to the States as well. I don't know. But, you know, I mean, it's just...
I can picture it right now.
God, that sucks so hardcore. What?
I can picture it.
I know. And again, I can't believe that they're getting away with it. You know, like...
That's me. I can't believe that Trump gets away with half the crap that he does.
No, I know.
Office. I'm just like, why can't these people see, you know, what is going on? But I mean, obviously America's divided now. So half are Trump people and then the other half are the ones who think on their own.
We're seeing through the bullshit.
Yeah. See through the fucking bullshit.
I mean, I remember him saying before he got elected, right? That's, I think, before the first election even. He said, oh, I can go out in the street and shoot somebody and people will still vote for me. Don't matter.
And get away with it. You can get away with anything.
Yes.
Yeah, and he grabs women by the, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. You know, well, we'll still vote for him. Oh, yeah, he's all a good guy.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it really seems like that, you know, and we know this from watching TV that, you know, crime sells, things like that. Even the news media, they'll show you, you know, really bad car wrecks and things because they know that's going to bring people in. So I'm starting to see this huge shift that if he says something, if he, remember when he made fun of that person that was handicapped?
Yeah.
He made those and people loved it. They were like, oh yeah. And
anybody else have done that? It would have been lynched on the spot. I mean,
yes.
Yeah. It's unbelievable what that man can go through. And I remember when he first came on the scene, I couldn't read him. I could not read him. Like, he's spiritually protected to in a weird way. I can't read him, but I can now. I mean, I think everybody can now, just by the things he's doing. You know, at first we had to wait and see. You know, I mean, I knew, but now you can see it.
Right.
So, you know, he, yeah. Anyways, I don't want to make this into a political show.
Yeah. And I was like, I'm moving to Canada. If he wins again, I'm going to Canada. And now she's
Oh, you don't want to come here? Oh no.
telling me all the reasons why I don't want to go to Canada either. I'm just going to go to Scotland.
Better
Well,
bring
that's okay.
28,000 if you want to go for a hike. Yeah.
That's okay, because we have a president that told us and the Canadians that we should go into the forest and rake all this stuff up so that it's nice.
Really?
Yes. We need to rake all the old, tree stuff that fell down. This will keep it from catching fire.
I want to say something.
Unless you're Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Can you put the comments back up? Somebody said something about the weed and that they're putting something into weed to make us zombies.
Oh,
Nice.
I
That
wouldn't be
right there.
surprised.
I just want to say that my son just the other day, he got some of the medicinal, and he did it. He's been smoking for a long time, and he did that, and he could not function. And before, when he wasn't smoking that kind, he can smoke it and go to work. He can function. He can do things. But this medicinal kind just had him zombie. He was a zombie. Couldn't do anything. And so when this guy said that, I was like, oh my God, there's something to that.
I was going to say, when you were talking about that, the reason why the liquor stores and the dispensaries and the pharmaceuticals are heavily promoted is because it makes us docile. We'll just sit there and eat our potato chips and watch our TV rather than doing what we're doing right now, questioning everything, talking about things. You have to be sober to do that. And so as soon as you're off work, boom, you go to the liquor store, get your liquor and get yourself all in comatose, and then you go, and go to sleep. And you don't go and question or do anything about anything.
Mm-hmm.
But, they don't care, again, that you drink.
No.
And things like this, because like we had said before, there's money in that for them. Yeah. But there's also money in the court systems and all that, because they know that the leading cause of violent tendencies is alcohol.
Alcohol always has been, right?
Yep. And the leading cause of DUI.
Mm-hmm.
Know? So if you have all these domestic batteries and all these people getting killed, all this, that's making buku bucks.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
it's shortening our life as well, because they don't really want you living past 65. Because now you're going to be cashing in that check, you see, and they don't want that.
Yeah.
And I've noticed, and I hate to say this, but there was a inoculation in the 50s that had the cancer cells in it. And I know for a fact, because most of my Canadian family here, nobody's made it to 70 yet. Everybody's dying of cancer everywhere.
Damn.
So they did that, didn't? And I always wondered, like, why isn't there? We know we got the baby boomers. We know we're going to have an increase of old people at a certain point. Why is it that we're not making any more old folks' homes and preparing for all these people? Well, that's why, because they made sure that these people aren't going to make it that far. They don't want you cashing in your old age pension check. Okay.
That's
right. So the more you drink, the more, you take pharmaceuticals, the more you do all of these bad things for you, including not going for a hike, by the way. So if you're just sitting around in the city all day, that's going to shorten your lifespan. You're going to live long enough to give them that 60 years, of working, and then boom, you're gone. There's no retirement for you. So that's another reason why they're doing that.
Yeah, and they just raised it again, the Social Security here again. And if you look, they're like, well, people are living longer. That's why we did it. No, that's not true.
No, they're not.
Yes,
no.
that is completely not true, because my dad died at 78. Even if he could have collected his Social Security at 72, between all the medical problems and that, because that's inevitable. You're going to have medical concerns because of your age. So it's a rigged system.
Yes, it is.
And it will always be that way.
And apparently it is in Canada too.
Yes. Well, I believe it's like that everywhere.
It's like that everywhere. Yeah. It's set up that way.
That control of people it's too good to not have.
Yeah.
And they're going to continue to use people. It's like back in the days in the States with slavery. Whoever thought that was a good idea? I have no idea, but you know, it's horrible.
Well, we were, you know, made for that. We were literally made to be slaves, and so we don't know anything other than slaves.
Right.
You know, we were slaves right now. It's just
Yeah.
that taking the chains off, but we're still slaves to the system, you know?
Mhm.
Yes.
So I think the slaves back in the day were probably treated better than us today. At least, you know, they used to take care of them and stuff and made sure that they were okay so they could work and everything. Now, like dental, when did the mouth divorce the body? Like, why is it that we're not taking care of our dental stuff? But you know what I mean? Like, I bet you back in the day, the slave got to go to the dentist when you needed it. You know what I mean? But nowadays, no, can't afford it. Can't afford to go to dentist. And that's causing a lot of problems
Right.
in people. They don't realize, you know, what the, yeah.
And that's true. It's like here, why isn't dental just included with your medical?
I know, right?
Yeah, why is that
You know what I mean? Why do you have to have two separate
If
things?
something goes wrong and you go in with a messed up tooth, they don't want to fix it. They just
Right.
want to extract it now.
And it's just like your work. I mean, if you're overworked, they tell you all the time at your workplace, hey, you know what? If you're having a bad time, we got these little places you can sit now and you can, get your head straight. But if that continues to be a problem, if you need medications, if you need things to survive on, they don't want you. They're just going to throw you out and get, how many people is in line to take your place? 100.
Right.
So yeah, it's a shame how we treat each other, especially when it comes to money.
Right.
Oh, it's horrible. Yeah, I know. So that will be good once that whole money system, the way we have it now, is gone and there's no more game. The game is to stay healthy and happy, and whole.
Right.
So, yeah, we need to go back sort of to the ways things were. And so going sort of circling back to the whole thing here, going back to, holistic medicines, using, everything. I do believe that everything we need is out there in nature, which is probably why they're trying to prevent us from going into nature.
Yep.
They don't want us foraging in the forest now, finding medicines and
That's right.
food for free, right?
Yes.
They don't want that. No, they don't want that. So, yeah, and I've also seen now it looks like most of the states is going to be under martial law here. Like they've started with the DC, and now I was reading Chicago. It's going to be all of America. I know this is something we've been talking about for years.
All the big cities.
Yep.
Yeah, we're talking about this for years, that we're going to be under martial law, and people are like, you're crazy. What are you talking about? Go and look in the news right now. What's happening right now?
Right.
Very, very sneaky. Very sneaky about it, though, right?
And they want to hit all the Democratic cities.
Yeah.
Because, they're redrawing the maps in, the Republican lines in Texas. And then, California is like, hey, well, if you're going to do that, we're going to redraw our lines. And now all of a sudden there's a huge war now between Republicans and Democrats over these lines. If you want to just stick it to everybody, just get in if you are a registered voter, all you need is those voting registrations to find out who's Democrats and just start wiping them out. They have the list. It's
if
a government
they
list.
would, I'm sure.
and it's probably going to happen. They're so desperate now to just go back to, they want a one party, one president nation. And, I can see it coming. And this is, it's unfortunate because a lot of people are going to die. They're like, well, there's going to be a huge civil war. No, there's not going to be a huge civil war. You're going to see the registration forms, all the logs where all that is compiled, and they're going to take it and they're just going to start killing off the Democrats, the people that care about other people. Okay, this
Well,
this
we're gonna
is
be the first to go, aren't we?
well, this is why Republicans don't care. They don't care about people. We do. You know, we have programs in the government to help people. So if you have welfare systems, you're helping people. Now, I'm not talking about the ones that's living off of welfare, but the ones that need it to get back on their feet. And the Republicans don't want this. So it's really, it's coming down to there's going to be a lot of shit that hits the fan.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, well, here in Canada, we didn't even vote for our prime minister. I mean, he just got placed in there. It's
Yes.
like, where did this dude come from? I've never even seen him in my life. You know, so that's the thing there, the whole voting thing. That's going to be a thing of the past. I think it's, you know, very sneaky about it, though, how they do it. But
yes,
yeah, it's a dictatorship coming in for sure. And
absolutely.
Well, we've
Yeah.
gone down some rabbit holes in this episode.
And with that, I think we should probably close out because I have kept Nina long enough. But Nina, I want to thank you so much for coming on. I had a blast talking to you. We talked a little bit about everything.
Yes, we did.
And it was a great show. And man, someday I'm definitely having you back on to.
Or she could have us on her show.
Or yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's book that in right now. Yeah, I would love to have you guys on. Yeah.
And for everyone that commented and joined us tonight, thank you so much. You really do make our shows. This is why we're here. We're here to help everybody figure things out because we don't know it all, and together we can learn it. Exactly. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
But thank you so much. You know, tonight we walked through shadows that stretch from ancient stones to underground cities, and from sleep paralysis to soul contracts, from lost histories to the future of beings that's being written now. All these secrets. If there's one thing we learned with Nina is that it's the knowledge is never neutral. It's hidden, rewritten, erased, it's controlled because knowledge is power. And whether we're talking about the Sumerian tablets, the Georgia Guidestones, or the whispers of the coming reset, the truth keeps echoing, and we are not meant to simply obey. We are meant to awaken. The world may not one day force us into steps into wearables, into perfect health measured by machines. They may burn books, bury truths, and move entire civilizations beneath the earth. But the one thing they can't never erase is awareness, the spark that remembers, questions, and refuses to forget. So carry these echoes with you and pass them on, because someday when somebody says it never happened, you'll know better. This has been Echoes from the Valley. Until next time, remember, in the hush between worlds, every voice has a story, every shadow a secret. Thank you so much, Nina, very much. All right. Thank you, everybody. And we will talk to you all soon.
Good night.